And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gem and the Crypto, episode 351. I got a squeak in my voice. Today is Tuesday, February 26th, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay, and we're here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10ish.
At 10ish, and today is one of those days. We also have a very special guest on today. Please welcome to the show, Rebecca Samuels.
Oh, yeah. Rebecca Samuels. Oh, yeah.
Rebecca, go ahead, Bitcoin. Say, what will Rebecca be talking to us about today?
Oh, yeah. So we will have some news stories for you today, but we will have Rebecca on to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency taxes. We do know that is like the boogeyman of crypto. However, we do want the information out there for those people who want to learn about doing their own taxes or have her do it as well. So we'll have her on throughout the show, and we'll ask her some questions. For those of you tuning in, make sure you have your questions in the chat for her as well.
There we go. And today's top stories, we'll be talking about Coinbase Pro, of course, adding Ripple, Netherlands, where a Bitcoin trader was attacked in his home, Abra CEO's sense of enterprise blockchains and private blockchains. And of course, as we said, we'll be going over all that tax information you need this tax season as is upon us. Don't let the government shut down again, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
They said they are in the building. Top story of the day, though, Coinbase Pro adds support for Ripple.
Finally, hold on, let's get them a hand.
Right.
Just because Ripple people have tried so long, they've been tweeting, they've had the bot army has come out. But just the persistence of the XRP people. Shout out to Cash. I know this is a happy day for him.
Oh man, Cash is having a ball right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I just want to give them that Ripple just persistence, man.
So for those who just now watch this for the first time, how's that working for them?
As far as Ripple,
Coinbase Pro adding it because it's different than just regular Coinbase.
Well, so the actual trading platform on Coinbase Pro, they allow for you to trade the Ripple token. And this announcement, of course, came out yesterday. Per the announcement, they will now accept deposits of Ripple for a minimum of 12 hours before the full trading, which should be sometime today. But they first want to establish sufficient liquidity on the platform, meaning they need Brad Garlinghouse to send as much Ripple as possible to their platform.
Get Ellen on here again.
Yeah, get Ellen on there and Ashton Kutcher. Hopefully they may get the liquidity they're looking for. The full trading will be available to customers in the U.S., Canada, European Union, the UK, Singapore, and Australia. So Coinbase can expand their services, anytime like they've done before. However, this is huge news for people who love Ripple. Like I just saw Cash to come in. He's been a big supporter for a long time. And for those of you who actually like Ripple, for a trading standpoint, this will probably help in the long run for Coinbase Pro. So it looks like Coinbase Pro is just trying to add as many assets as possible during the bear market.
Every derivative, everything you can add.
Yeah. This smells of desperation, honestly.
Right. What's going on? Malik Howard, Tessa Hall, Cool Works, Allison, Jizzy Mac, Cornelius, Milto. Hello, all. Hello. But speaking of Coinbase, so a lot of people when they first start using cryptocurrency, the first place it goes Coinbase. I remember at one point, 2017, they were saying they had about 100,000 new users every day on Coinbase for people who wanted to buy Bitcoin. Now looks like people are going to be buying Ripple, of course, Litecoin, all that good stuff. But with all those people, especially the newcomers this past year and a half or so, they have to do their taxes now. We're in tax season, so I think this is a good time to actually segue into what Rebecca does, how she get there, and how she could probably help you all out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, let us know, Rebecca, who you are and what you do.
All right, so my name is Rebecca Samuels. I am a CPA. I'm located out here in the Washington, D.C. area. And I started my business almost 2 years now, Pythagoras LLC, which is just a play on words of the Pythagorean theorem. When I first started this, I came into this space not really knowing what I wanted to do, but I know that the IRS put out a notice that a lot of people weren't filing their cryptocurrency taxes, and this was going to be an area that they were going to be looking into. So I figured that would be a good way for me to learn about the space and everything else. And what ended up happening for me was after I learned about cryptocurrency and even more so the blockchain, I just started becoming an investor myself. I'm heavily supporting this area. I believe in it. I see the future of where it's going to go. But at the end of the day, we still have regular things that we need to do, such as taxes that people don't necessarily like. So it was a good first year for me. Usually when someone starts a business, they're negative for the first couple of years because you're trying to get clients and everything else. But this was an area where there was a need. There weren't too many other accountants, CPAs, enrolled agents that were helping clients do what they need to do. It was confusing. It's difficult, all this other stuff. So my first year, I had a lot of business, a lot of clients literally all over the world. I had an Australian client, which was amazing. He couldn't find anyone in his continent to assist him with putting his ledger together. I didn't do his taxes, but I helped him put his ledger together so that it made sense tax wise. And he went off and did his own taxes and everything else like that. But that just goes to show you how this new area is exploding with opportunity, especially with the blockchain. So this is my second year, and obviously last year was a bad year. Bear market, people, it was bad. And a lot of people aren't aware that they're able to write off their crypto losses on their tax return. If you invested money and you've closed out of certain positions, if you've cashed out into fiat, those are realized losses, and you're able to take those losses on your tax return. So that's what I'm kind of doing now. I'm helping people that either are established clients or just need help or whatever, do that.
So that's a good point. So since last year, a lot of people did take a loss. How does that, what's the short version of that for people who are listening? How does that work this year? Is that something they can write off, or should they even try to file for taxes? A lot of people are against it in the space.
So that's something that, keeps coming back, because this wasn't the purpose of cryptocurrency. And I understand that. But like I tell people all the time, if we want it to coexist, regulation and cryptocurrency have to come to a meeting spot. So for people that do want to follow the cryptocurrency, rules put out by the IRS in 2014, you pretty much would need to calculate your losses and put it on your tax return. If you have $3,000 or more of losses, you'll only be limited to collecting $3,000 a year until you use up all of your losses. But you're able to write it off. It helps out some. And just think about if you paid cryptocurrency taxes or if you invested, this is a way for you to recoup the money that you lost. That said, I'm in the space and I buy cryptocurrency every 2 weeks. I buy Bitcoin actually every 2 weeks. I'm just amassing it right now while the prices are still low.
So, okay, that's actually the lead in that. For how does the taxation work for Bitcoin and whatever different crypto token you're using? Is it every time you buy it, every time you sell it, every time you sell it off the exchange to fiat? How does that work?
Okay, so when you buy it with fiat cash, that is not a taxable event and doesn't need to be reported. You do need to keep track of that because it establishes what's called your basis in the coin. So if you buy $100 of Bitcoin, your basis would be $100, and that's your number that you're calculating your gains or your losses out of. So for example, if by the time you decide to sell that what was $100 worth of Bitcoin and it's now worth $150, you're pretty much reporting a $50 capital gains, which you'll pay a percentage of that of taxes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And what percentage is that for capital gains? 15%?
So it's your ordinary tax rate. And as we all know, due to the new tax law, tax rates have decreased about 2 to 3% this year. So it really depends on what you fall under. If you're in the 12% bracket, then you'll be paying 12%. There is a caveat to that. If you hold cryptocurrency for at least a year, you have a special tax rate. Again, it depends on what your normal tax rate is, your normal tax bracket is. From there, we can calculate what that special rate would be for you. So you would have to look at the charts for more details, but pretty much you could be paying anywhere from 0 to 20% in long-term capital gains taxes. Whereas if you were say an ordinary person that did a lot of short-term trading and you've had well over, 400,000 in capital gains, you could be paying as much as 37%. So that 20% is a big deal.
Nice. And I wanted to ask, because Bitcoin, of course, has its rules as far as cryptocurrency as a whole. If something is deemed a utility token, meaning that it supposedly has a use case, would that still be something that is taxable if it is moved for with just crypto and not fiat?
Well, this is an area that they're still trying to, I guess, give more regulation on. The best thing I could tell you right now is if there's a value for the crypto, whether it's a security token, utility token or not, if there's a crypto, if there's a value for it, and you've converted it into anything else, that could be deemed as a taxable event where we would have to calculate the gains or losses from.
So on the regular, you say you pay attention to regulations. On the regulatory side, how does this happen? Two questions. So first, how do they decide when they're going to tax something? And then, if whatever they decide, because right now we're seeing about 5 different agencies compete over who's going to tax it or who has control, like FINRA, SEC, IRS, NFA. So once they do decide, what happens if one of their words, wherever they put in regulation, like a year or two later, it doesn't exist anymore? But you've already paid your taxes. How would that work?
So, and this is the scary side of cryptocurrency, because due to the fact that we don't have the guidance or the solid guidance that we need, there's still questions. And I know a number, the AICPA has petitioned local governments to say, hey, we actually need some final guidance here. We need to give these to our clients to help assist them. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. We're going to find out exactly what happens. As of right now, the IRS has put out a notice that cryptocurrency is taxable. You can read about it by just simply Googling it. It's 2014-21. That's the IRS notice. The IRS deems crypto as property. Now, you're absolutely right. We have other government agencies that are pushing their interests. Nothing has been finalized as of yet, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, the most guidance that we've received, I believe, from the SEC is that for now, cryptocurrencies are not securities. ICOs are, but cryptocurrencies aren't. So therefore, they're not monitoring that end because it's no longer under the securities branch. So it's really confusing. The best I can say,
right?
Yeah. But that's not going to stop them from,
No, for sure. No, we're laughing in our comment section. So Jizzy Mac actually said a comment earlier. He said it sounds like bend the knee, but he just followed up again and said the IRS put out a notice saying bend the knee. But I will say this: while that's absolutely true, Jizzy Mac, just from this short amount of questions we've asked Rebecca and how familiarized and how much she knows her information, we get the text questions here a lot. So if you're listening, this sounds like a great person and a great resource you can go to get those questions answered, or even do your taxes. So, as a quick moment, Rebecca, so we can type it in here and say it on our podcast. We'll come back at the end. But where can everyone find you at?
You can go to my website, which is www.pythagus.com. That's spelled PYTHAGUS.com. If you're looking to schedule a consultation, just go down on the first page. You'll see what's called a conference scheduler, and you can pick a day and time that works for you for us to Zoom chat or talk on the phone.
Perfect. And like I said, we'll say at the end again for those listening, and we'll put it in the show notes. And with that quick break, want to give a shout out to Yes Man. Thank you for the tip. Yes Man says, Zay, don't forget Fluence for your Spanish.
Oh yeah. I checked out Fluence actually. I'm trying to get up on that so I can get my Spanish up to date.
There we go.
Oh yes.
I gotta check it out. I've been doing Babbel again.
Oh yes.
No Babbel. All right, so let's jump on another story before we come back to Rebecca. She'll give us some more good information. Let's head over to the Netherlands. We've heard these stories before. They're quite unfortunate and disheartening, but it's something we preach about: security, not just cybersecurity, but your actual physical security. It looks like in the Netherlands, a Bitcoin trader has been attacked in his home. No bueno.
Never good.
A Bitcoin trader has been attacked in his home in the Netherlands by a group of robbers disguised as the police. Local news outlet De Telegraaf reported on February 23rd. So this is a few days ago. What happened here with the story?
Oh, yeah. So it looks like 38-year-old Geard H., they didn't give his last name, was reportedly victim of a violent raid in his home. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but it starts with a D, Drew Wiverning, February 10th, where a group of criminals wearing But I was about to say Balenciagas, balaclavas, and bulletproof. Hopefully, somebody in Balenciaga
bulletproof vest, like rappers.
Yeah, exactly. You would have a Balenciaga bulletproof vest. But while the motive is not clear to them, which is hilarious because I'm sure it was a robbery, they have investigated that he was trading cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies so far, we've seen a few different robberies in person over time, maybe 5 or 6 over our 350 something show career. So it's not very prevalent, but it does happen, and we like to actually put it out. And we actually covered this one before. I believe a Russian businessman was held hostage, and he had to transfer about 100,000 worth of Bitcoin in Thailand a while back. So we've seen this before. It looks like this is more of the same. They haven't really come forth with much information about this case. However, people getting robbed for their cryptocurrency does happen. So you want to make sure you have that physical security.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Especially, I mean, you definitely don't want to let people know when you're trading it. Or if you go over Rebecca Samuels, don't let everybody know when you're getting your crypto tax return. I know, right? It might be a good one. You might come away with a good year and be in some trouble.
Exactly.
No, this is unfortunate, but it's one of those things where it'll definitely make it to the crypto movie if it's real. Because the only thing about this story is that the motive isn't clearly established yet. They're saying it's for Bitcoin, which again, very well could be in the space. But we definitely don't want that to become like the new calling card to align with criminals, for the mainstream media's narrative to say, hey, you can do it, but you're gonna get robbed. It's like, all right, so
come on.
I guess I shouldn't have cash or gold at home or something.
We want to make sure we take these serious. We don't want any Jesse attacks going
hilarious.
On, so that people don't believe that they actually happen, because this happens.
This was sponsored by JP Morgan and Empire.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like I said, I've always been the person that I don't really believe until I see the evidence of it. So I want to see more come about this story, but this is very real. People, take care of yourself, especially in in person.
Yep. Ryan Cooper said multi-sig. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
There it is. Private enterprise blockchains make no sense and are set to fail, says Abra CEO.
Oh yeah.
Again, it sounds like Abra CEO watches our show, but he said the idea of private blockchains such as enterprise blockchain platforms will eventually, quote, fail miserably. The CEO of Abra said during Fortune's Balancing the Ledger show on February 25th. Wait for another big CEO to come out and say the same type of rhetoric that the Warren Buffets of the world say about Bitcoin. It's terrible, it's going to fail, isn't good. But he's coming back out and he's saying that about private blockchains and enterprise blockchains, huh?
Redundant. Yeah, I mean, we've said it over and over. People in the space have expressed this, that private blockchains are really just a slower database. And if you know MySQL, there's no reason to use a blockchain for most of these businesses. However, these companies have gone forth with distributed ledger technology and CBDCs and stable coins used to move. All this stuff is just buzzwords to get you hyped up about a technology that's been around for years. However, Abra CEO sees right through that. He sees the actual use case for public blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. He actually stated, people have this fallacy idea that they're going to make blockchain work inside the firewall. It's all going to fail miserably. It's all about a truly decentralized cryptocurrency and a private blockchain. It just makes no sense. And we seem to agree, simply because a private blockchain with your own validators and nodes controlled by your company is nothing more than having middle management. That's literally all it is, middle management between you and the client. So shout out to a big CEO actually saying this in the face of other CEOs like Warren Buffett, Harvard professors. They get on stage at Davos and some of these conferences and just throw out whatever. They don't even really know what Bitcoin is. Abra's made the jump to actually include it on their platform. So it's good to see he's on the Jack Dorsey side, it seems like, for sure, where he actually wants to see it flourish.
And to play devil's advocate, this is the only, I won't say only, this is one of the reasons why I could see private blockchains working, and that's for bigger companies where they do need that trust factor. Because we're talking about Amazon warehouses and stuff, and it's like, from what I hear about Amazon's culture, they want like the managers to just be like just sharking at their people like sink or swim. Like literally, that's what they breed. That's why people, I guess, only work there on average a couple of years before they burn out. But with that being said, those type of environments, everyone doesn't have a high level of trust. So that's the only time I can see I won't say only, but that's one of those times where I can see private blockchains is selling. Maybe in the military, again, you got a lot of people, you working with different, but I mean, the way they're trying to use the blockchains right now to appeal to the mass public are, like you said, those are going to fail miserably because they still don't get it. It's like, like you said, you know how to use MySQL. we can see financial institutions using it to save money, but again, they're not going to reflect on your bill. So is there really a reason for it?
They're not going to save you money. Well, why would they do that? They've been making too much. So yeah, I can see maybe JP Morgan coin or somebody using it, but it won't matter in the grand scheme of things, in my opinion.
So actually, question for you, Rebecca, on this private institutional enterprise level, how will companies be taxed when it comes to cryptocurrency? And they're starting their own private blockchains, or they're doing STOs and stuff. How does that, just the kind of basic rudimentary, how does that function work for those guys?
So again, this is an area where regulation is still developing. Until we receive anything clear from any of our regulators, I imagine we're going to be applying current day rules to cryptocurrency, which, I've always been against that. This is a new area. It's a new space. We need rules that fit here. We need regulations that fit here versus taking regulations that was conjured in 1933 and 1934 and applying it to cryptocurrency. So we'll see exactly how this comes out. But I do know that SEC is looking for recommendations on how to regulate the space regarding companies, individuals, investors, and everything else. So anyone has any ideas, definitely contact them and let them know, say, this is my two-piece. This is what should happen in this space because I know what's going on and you don't, and this makes sense, and what you come up with may not make sense.
True.
And only thing I'm scared to contact SEC because they're like, so you know a lot about crypto, so you've been in it for a while, all right? And so you've been doing a little action.
Oh yeah. So exactly how much crypto?
Yeah. So how long have you been in it? You say,
well, they're asking for it though. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. If you really want to contact them anonymously if that's the case. But they're asking for people to participate because they want to be able to produce regulations that make sense for this space. Hester Pierce was located. She did a fireside chat down in Washington, D.C. in front of a lot of different exchanges and investors of cryptocurrency. It was at a digital asset forum. And she was pretty much telling the audience, please come talk to us. We're not going to do anything to you. We're not trying to track you. We're just trying to get information on what makes sense for this. Because we have to remember, these governments are still learning this compared to the people that have been in this space for years. We can definitely give them information to help them come up with the regulations. And I think there'll be more compliance if people give their buy-in versus the government just saying whatever they're saying. And now we have to follow their rules.
True. I think I could make a compelling case to the SEC that cryptocurrency is a religion, and we can list it as a 501c3 nonprofit and no taxes should be taken out at all. I think I can make a compelling case because nobody's ever met Satoshi Nakamoto. And people believe in it, and people make money from other people's donations. So I'm pretty sure I can make a compelling case. I'm gonna try and see what the SEC says, but I don't know.
We'll contact her. Hester Pierce, that's her name. Crypto tax mom, I believe they call her. Hester Pierce. Definitely, she'll take emails, phone calls, whatever.
So look, with your experience in taxes, just as an ideal. If you had to say, this is my guess of how they might actually regulate corporations. That's what I'm actually curious about for these big exchanges and stuff. That are basically operating as banks, kind of hybrid banks. When they start to get even bigger, the Coinbases of the world, and they have 300, million, 400, 4 billion in crypto assets. How do they get taxed? Or how would you, how would you think that they might get taxed in the future?
I think it would fall along the lines of, the rules and regulations regarding banks right now. This is a very interesting area because, again, when I went down to the digital asset forum in December, a bunch of different exchanges were there, representatives and other private investors, actual institutions, not individuals. They were there talking about the different concerns that they had. And one thing they seem to be in agreement on is we want to do everything to see this space grow. So whatever we need to do, we have to comply with KYC, AML, any other regulations that's put forth. We're going to do that. And we're going to do that before governments tell us to do that, because we want to make sure that we're not stopping what's going on. They're thinking of the bigger picture. They want more money to come into the space, especially with institutional investors such as pension plans, other banks, that sort of thing. So that's my guess. If I had to say how are they going to be taxed or anything of the sort, it may follow along the lines that we're seeing now, unless someone comes up with a compelling argument to say this is what makes sense for us and how things should go. But, you know, we'll see exactly what's going to happen. I'm not too sure.
It takes time. It takes time, man.
Definitely. Give a shout out to a few people that just joined a few minutes ago. Paradigm Audio said notified 19 minutes out. No bueno. Yeah. DT Crypto, shout out from North Carolina. What's going on? Oh, yeah. World CryptoCon.
Oh, yeah. That's a crystal.
Right. Maurice said, I like to use guidelines instead of rules because they are static and not fluid like this space. Well, don't we all? But government was like, we got to get our taste.
Yeah.
Got to get our taste.
Got to do it, man.
Donald Muhammad said, what about fair tax for crypto? Keep it simple. Again, that is
this is not a simple subject. I wish.
No, even if it were simple, that's not the way you get more derivatives or make it simple. You got to listen. Derivatives on top of derivatives. People, I got grandkids. This can't feed my kids.
Exactly. Let's get the Bitcoin.
Which football player said that? Yeah. Oh, no, that was
Trail Sprewell.
Yeah, there we go.
What is 80 million? I got to feed my kids.
What is this supposed to do? Yeah, this is nothing.
My kids supposed to eat with only 80 million.
Oh, hilarious. Sergeant Crypto said Abra is using the actual Bitcoin ledger to do their transactions. Exactly. Something easy. I saw a funny one to him. Oh, okay. Sergeant Crypto also said it sounds like a trap. That's what the Mad King did to the Starks, and he burned them. He's talking about in regards to working with the SEC.
Oh, yeah. It looks like everybody's ready for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It looks like everybody's ready for Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
We just missed Game of Thrones.
All right, so good stuff. Other questions you got? Bitcoin.
I have one last question. In regards to crypto taxes that people pay currently, if they change the rules, do you believe there will be any point that they'll be able to send back crypto or to receipt people with the crypto that they paid in taxes today?
You know, that's a very good question. And this is something that I talk about with my clients. If that opportunity presents itself, I believe they should be able to amend their prior year taxes and get back whatever they paid in. So this is going to be kind of interesting because I have clients that have paid over $60,000 due to cryptocurrency taxes. They've been in since 2013, 2014. They've had gains over years upon years that has been building up, especially with the run up in 2017. So that's something that I'm going to be pushing for if the rules change. But we'll see what happens. But why not?
All right, people. Well, you know, as we always tell you, crypto tax is something you need to consider, and we get it. You know, if you had a lot of transactions going through, you made a lot of money, you got a family, some kids, you just can't bounce out the country like I can. I want to do no taxes, but if you want people who can jump on an island in no time and get rid of his citizenship, no, I was kidding. But with all that being said, one more time, Rebecca, where can everyone find you at?
Yep, you can look for me at my website, which is pythagus.com, pythagus.com. There's a conference scheduler. You could go through, book a consultation if you need to talk to me regarding your particular situation, if you need assistance with calculation or even just filing your taxes. I specialize in cryptocurrency taxes, but I also do other things, especially individual and business, accounting and taxation. So whatever your needs are, I can take care of you.
And last couple of things. What is the most common question you get about crypto taxes?
Why do I have to pay taxes on this?
That's hilarious. You know what? That's it. We're going to end it on that. That's perfect. You got anything else Bitcoin say?
That's all for me. It was great talking to you, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
Shout out to our to Ryan Cooper, one of our warriors who watches, who actually put me on to you. He said you did his and Trek's taxes. So.
Oh yeah, great clients. I love them.
I hear that, people. She's already done some crypto taxes in the industry, so you know, she knows what she's doing. She's well read on all the regulatory issues surrounding cryptocurrency. So this sounds like a great place to go. Everyone is saying thank you in the comments box to you, Rebecca, right now. Paradigm Audio, you must be military, said Bravo Zulu. We appreciate that as well. So yeah, Rebecca, I'm sure you have some people reach out to you. I know once we decide to do our crypto taxes, we will as well.
All right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for being here. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, you all have a good one. We will see you all tomorrow.
Cheers.